for your entertainment live on HBO. And it's all sponsored by Tecate, the official beer of boxing. Chevys, win the right way, and the rematch. Triple G versus Canelo, live on HBO pay-per-view from T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas on Cinco de Mayo, May 5th. This contest brought to you in association with ALA Promotions and KO International. All bouts tonight sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission. Chairman John Carvelli, Executive Officer Andy Foster. For tonight, the IBF, President Darryl Peoples, Supervisor Aaron Kaiser. The three judges scoring this contest, Max DeLuca, Alejandro Rochin, and Danny Sandoval. And in charge of the action at the bell, your referee, Ed Hernandez Sr. And now, let's get this party started. 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF Flyweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black and red, officially weighing in at 112 pounds. His professional record, 39 victories, including 19 knockouts with 3 defeats. From Mendoza, Argentina, the challenger, former WBA flyweight world champion, Juan Carlos Coton Reveco. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing purple and officially weighing in at 111.6 pounds. He's a 3-time world champion. His record, 40 victories, 22 wins by knockout, only 1 defeat with 4 draws. From Bacolod City, Negros Occidental, Philippines, the former mini world champion and the reigning and defending WBO flyweight champion of the world, Donnie Nietes.
All right, gentlemen, I've been over the rules with you both. You're both professionals. I expect you to conduct yourself as such. Both of your trunks are a little high. This is legal here. This is legal here. Touch gloves. Good luck.
The Philippines have had a very proud tradition of producing great fighters throughout boxing history. And while Nietes has not been Manny Pacquiao or Pancho Villa or Flash Elorde quite, he has forced himself onto that list among the great Filipino fighters of all time. Reveco is the kind of tough opponent that Nietes has beaten time and again throughout his championship run.
And Andre Nietes is a guy who has proven throughout his career that he can either box or punch. Tonight, he probably is in the position of getting to choose what he wants to do. Reveco, even though he's only giving 1 inch up in height, it's enough that he sees himself as the shorter fighter and understands he probably needs to get inside.
Yeah, Reveco obviously has been the shorter fighter for most of his career. He acknowledges that, but he's learned to overcome that. He's okay with that. And with Nietes, he's a veteran. He, on a scale from 1 to 10, he's going to give you a consistent 5 or 6. He's not going to do anything that's going to wow you, but he does a lot of crafty, subtle things in there that's definitely going to get your attention and get Reveco's attention as well.
And we begin with Nietes landing his jab and delivering 1 right hand across the top, fighting at a measured pace.
Nietes reminds me of you in certain ways, Andre. He's a disruptive fighter. He punches, his rhythm disrupts the other guy. He punches when the other guy doesn't want to engage. He disengages when the other guy wants to engage.
That's the name of the game. He's very efficient, and he only does what he has to do.
And so far, he has blocked every punch that Reveco has tried. Blocking the body shots with his arms, blocking the upstairs stuff with his gloves. Reveco, by my lights, hasn't really landed anything yet. CompuBox sees him at 1 for 11.
Nietes will also quadruple and quintuple up on the jab at times. There's a lot of crafty things in there as the fight wears on.
You can see that Reveco is trying to get to the body with wide winging shots. And chances are, when he lets his hands travel out to the side like that, wings those shots, that Nietes is going to see them coming and pick them off with his defensive skills.
Yeah, Nietes is definitely going to discipline Reveco every chance that he gets. And Reveco knows that. He mentioned that to us in the fighter meeting about how he can't get too over anxious. He's a very aggressive fighter. He has a high punch count, but he knows that Nietes is a veteran, and he knows that Nietes is a natural counterpuncher as well.
Already we see Reveco has thrown 21 punches to this point in the first round. In his last fight, he came out firing 70, 75, 80 punches per round, and he's already being limited to a considerably slower pace tonight by the tactical effectiveness of Donnie Nietes. Reveco sneaks in a right hand to the body. Reveco gets in another right hand to the body as Nietes misses with the right upstairs.
That's a really good combination to the body that Reveco landed, especially the right hand.
Quick ta John, quick ta. Jab, kalite. Jab, kalit. Ha? Kalit ba? Kalit. Ha? Kalit ha? Ini jab niya. Mo kuan na gani siya, mo tanaw mo gudol gani siya. Ayaw pugni. Atras si, di daw tanawag mo atras ka. Atras si ha. Atras si siya. Ha? Atras eh. Atras. Humandahin quick dahin.
Relax. Don't give him range, okay? Doing very well. Very well. Give me the towel. Want water? Give me.
Not surprisingly, given his Filipino roots, Donnie Nietes came to town early to prepare for this fight and worked out at the wild card gym. But, of course, Manny Pacquiao's not in the wild card gym these days. He's back in the Philippines practicing politics. Nietes said that he and his trainer, Edmund Villamor, got in some good work at the wild card and got some effective advice and help from Freddie Roach, but not from the Filipino adjunct to that wild card team, Marvin Somodio.
He also got some good rounds in with Brian Valoria,
who suffered an upset loss on the undercard here tonight.
But fought a great fight. It was a great fight. And Valoria suffered a bad, gruesome cut, I believe, in the 11th round. But the fight was pretty much decided at that point.
United States Olympian, brilliant prospect coming out, has had a bit of a hard luck career.
Valoria's has had an excellent career, and yeah, a bit of a hard luck one. A popular fighter when he turned pro, an Olympian, an offensive fighter, a crowd pleaser, a good personality, and didn't become a dominant champion, but would have been an excellent fighter as he has been in any era.
Great person. See, there you see the subtlety of Nietes. Not a lot of big movements, but just enough to slip. He looks at what he wants to punch, but he won't take the shot now. He'll take it in the 3rd or 4th round. That's a veteran tactic and a veteran move.
So great, Andre, that you cited the subtlety of it. I was just getting ready to say, look at the subtle head movement by Nietes, who doesn't have to do much to make Reveco miss.
And as you said that, he slipped the punch. He slipped and picked the punch with his left glove. He landed a jab right when Reveco was trying to disengage. He's just a very crafty guy.
These are the kinds of moves that don't necessarily catch the eye of that many people in the arena, but the opponent, when he watches Nietes do that, he's stuck with having to say to himself, you know, this guy's really good. I'm not able to do what I want to do.
Jim, my predecessor in this seat, the great Larry Merchant, used to talk about a fighter in the pocket like this. This is called the pocket, where you're in punching range, like a great quarterback. the blitz is coming and things are flying all around, and he calmly sidesteps and delivers the ball. And Nietes is like a really seasoned quarterback in the pocket. Look at that.
Well chosen body shot by Nietes while Reveco was missing upstairs. And now Reveco comes back with a couple of body shots of his own. But in the closing seconds of round 2, already by CompuBox count, Nietes is doubling Reveco in landed punches. Donnie Nietes' ring nickname is Haas, the Tagalog word for snake, and it is perhaps as apt a moniker as there is anywhere in the sport of boxing.
When I was 19 years old, my uncle told me there was a job waiting for me as the janitor at the Ala gym. A year after I got there, the owner bought some pet snakes, and I began taking care of them. I was definitely terrified of the snakes at first, but after a while I started to love them, and I even wanted to have one as a pet. In those years of tending to the snakes, they bit me 6 or 7 times, but it was okay because they were pythons and not poisonous. When you have a snake, people really look at you. I have 2 Burmese pythons of my own, but I couldn't bring them to the US because they don't have visas.
Donnie Nietes is so emotionally controlled, so underexpressive, that smile he broke out in the middle of talking about the snakes represented a major emotional display for him. That shows you that he loves the snakes.
You know, I bring this metaphor up from time to time, or an analogy up, between boxing and chess. And the best chess books, I think, teach by showing you a master versus every different level of opponent, from beginner to expert. And the most interesting games are the master against the expert, because you see the subtle differences. And in this fight so far, you've seen why Nietes has been a long-reigning belt holder. Because in against an expert fighter, a world-class fighter, there's a subtle difference in terms of the depth of his skill, Andre. The way he picks punches, the calmness in the pocket, the countering, the pacing. He's a master.
He's a master, and you only get that through experience. Sometimes bad experiences and sometimes good experiences. And in Nietes' case, he's had a lot more good experiences than he's had bad. I mean, he's on a 14-year winning streak. He's the longest reigning Filipino champion in boxing history. That's for a reason.
1 loss in his career, and it took place in September of 2004. Since then, all wins other than 4 different draws.
And as much as flack as I give the sanctioning bodies, and they deserve it, the fact is, if you're a long-reigning belt holder, that makes title mandatory after mandatory. Chances are you're going to have an off night.
Absolutely.
Chances are against another world-class opponent without a lot of fanfare, you can come in underprepared, or you just didn't have it that night. And Nietes hasn't had that. He's been consistent every time, been able to overcome world-class opponents.
Consistency in this game is definitely underrated. Sometimes we as boxing fans, we get excited with the shooting star, the guy that's making a big splash or making a lot of noise in the moment, and that's fine. But show me the guy that has success against top competition over an extended period of time. That's the guy that gets me excited.
Well, and it was consistency over a long period of time. It was 46 consecutive wins with 38 knockouts that lifted Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez to the #1 ranking pound for pound in the world coming into calendar 2017. But as his experiences with Srisaket Sorong Visai show, there's somebody out there in this overwhelmingly vast and variety-filled world of boxing. There's somebody out there who has your number, and you just never know when you're going to run into that guy. Chocolatito Gonzalez could never have really known before he first fought Srisaket Sorong Visai that this was the guy.
Particularly with pressure fighters in the lighter divisions, they tend to age very quickly once they hit about 30.
Which makes it interesting to see what will happen to Srisaket Sorong Visai, who's 29. Tuesday, tune in for the next Real Sports. Look for an extended segment revisiting an undercover expose on the enslavement of child jockeys in Middle Eastern camel racing and the surprising events since, which have brought the practice to an end.
You're giving him the range. You're giving him the range. All right? You gotta be closer to him. You gotta be close to him and work it. And go to the side and throw the shot. You're working that right. Right. But be careful, all right? Be careful with his right. Have you felt his power? Nothing. Have you felt the right at all? No.
CompuBox numbers through the first 3 rounds tell a fascinating story. So far in the fight, Reveco is landing 13% of his total punches by CompuBox count. If you look at Nietes' last 3 opponents combined, they landed 14.5% of their punches. So in other words, he's this good defensively against just about anybody he faces. And that means that he doesn't have to do all that much offensively to be the winner of most of his rounds. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim, I got a 3-0, 30-27, Donnie Nietes. I got to tell you, Jim, he's a very good fighter. I never saw him before, live, but boy, I'll tell you, he's an excellent fighter. He punches real good in the middle of the ring. He keeps the fight where he wants it, His ring generalship is excellent, and he outpunches Juan Reveco in just about every round that I've watched so far in this fight. 3-0, Donnie Nietes.
Max Kellerman compared him to Andre Ward. There can be fewer, higher compliments than that. There can be very few.
In a very specific way. He doesn't remind me of Andre as an overall fighter, but in the sense that he dictates what's happening. He frustrates his opponent by doing what the opponent doesn't want to happen, by engaging and disengaging with a rhythm that upsets his opponent. In that respect, he's very much like Andre, I think.
If you know anything about Reveco, like we mentioned earlier in the telecast, Reveco is a 2-fisted fighter. He punches with volume, he throws a lot of punches, and he's aggressive. But you see Nietes, who's the consummate professional, he's the veteran. His nickname is Snake. He's almost like a snake charmer, where he's very deceptive. He's taken the punch count of Reveco, down, and Reveco in so many cases is shell-shocked. He can't do what he wants to do, and I don't even think he realizes that right now.
And yet Nietes is right in front of him, and he can't land the punches.
And it also means that Nietes doesn't have to take any chances on offense to be offensively in control. He's landing 23% of his punches. That's not high, but it's enough to double what Reveco is able to do.
And a veteran like Nietes, you'll see him slowly start to pick it up. He'll throw just a little bit more each round until he gets the shots that he wants to get. And you'll look up and he'll either score a knockout, or you'll look up and the fight will be over and he's won most of the rounds. That's how it goes.
I don't know what the booing is about. I don't find this to be a boring fight. A little bit one-sided, obviously, but if you like boxing craft, you're seeing a lot of it here. And it's not as though he's not moving his hands. Punches are flying.
If the ticket buyers come from the boxing cultures that spawned the fighters on the card, Argentina, the Philippines, Mexico, they expect to see aggressive fighters with an offensive bent. That's what they're used to.
More risk-taking.
Exactly.
Stop at the bell.
That's probably the genesis of the booing that you're hearing here. This isn't their cup of tea.
Well, they're acting as though this is StubHub.
We're having a blast.
Ha? Okay na. Headbutt, Dun. Daghan tagsumbag. Gamay ra kita tagsumbag. Imo ra gud. Hoy. Focus kasi mo. Imo ra gud yan. The game plan is the most important. Hoy. Tawa ha.
Goes to the range. You're bringing your hands too much down. Too far down. Don't bring your hands down. We worked on that, dude. This is going to be the 5th. This is going to be the 5th. Hey, the same thing. Be intelligent. Close it up. Don't fight at his distance. Bring it in. Close it up. And you're on the inside and you're directing.
Reveco has a poker face. Not going to show discouragement in there. But through the first 4 rounds, CompuBox finds him landing 6 punches per round out of 45 punches per round thrown. And Nietes has more than doubled him in terms of landed punches. So while the crowd may be booing because they hoped for something more spectacular in terms of give and take, we're looking again at mastery.
And we don't know how the rest of the fight is going to play out. There's a lot of fight left, but If I had to guess, I think Reveco is thinking right now that everything I heard about Donnie Nietes is true.
If I had to guess, I think the boos might be louder in round 8 and 9.
I like what, I mean, I don't know. I see two guys throwing punches. You tell me when there's a significant break in the action. Look, here comes Reveco. His hands are moving. Nietes' hands are moving. They're just also both playing defense.
Right now I'm focusing on the accuracy of Nietes' left hook.
I don't see any holding. I don't see any running. I don't see any long periods of inaction. Good fight so far.
Once again, Nietes ducks and slips a few punches and sneaks in a left hook.
If you watch Nietes, even when he's under attack, he stays calm the whole time. And for the young fighters watching at home, that's something to look at. It's not always the flashy defensive move, but it's the subtleties, it's the small things, and keeping calm under composure. Excuse me, keeping composure under fire. And Nietes has done that this whole fight.
Reveco spent 4 years on the Argentine national team with Lucas Matisse and Marcus Maidana, and acknowledged that they are the kinds of fighters that Argentine fans love to watch and that he, in effect, loves to watch. We asked him if there's any chance that the long dreamed about fight between Maidana and Matisse could ever conceivably take place, and he smiled and said, well, for Maidana, that would have been about 100 pounds ago. So unlikely it's ever going to happen.
See, what the fans want here is one of these guys to lose their discipline, to just start winging shots. But it's actually a better fight than that. Both fighters are remaining disciplined, even when their opponent, particularly Nietes, is doing things to frustrate them.
And it's tough to give Reveco some type of game plan right now to get to Nietes because, one, he's the shorter fighter, so he can't box on the outside. If he comes inside and starts to open up, Nietes is waiting to counter. Reveco's in a real tough spot right now in this fight.
Nietes is hard to hit even when you're in close quarters. He's still hard to land against.
But that's what I mean. That's what Reveco on paper wants to be, but Nietes is comfortable inside.
Stop with the bell, guys. Stop with the bell.
Well, if you accept that some of these boos might be coming from Mexican or Mexican-American fans, they're waiting to see their man Carlos Cuadras enter the ring in the next fight, and that's a perfect look at Cuadras. See the smile on his face? The personality is so vibrant. If you took his personality and put it into Canelo Alvarez, you might double the pay-per-view take on Canelo versus GGG. Let's take a look, a closer look at Carlos Cuadras' bio. He's from Mexico City. 29 years old, same age as Srisaket Sorangbisai, 35-2-1, one loss to Chocolatito and one loss to Estrada. 26 knockouts, he's got some power. Defeated Sorangbisai in 2014, that was the last time that Srisaket Sorangbisai lost a fight. Former 115-pound title holder, lost to Chocolatito in a very close decision. Tonight he has his 4th trainer in the past 3 years, and it's Triple G's trainer, Abel Sanchez. Total punches in round 5. Donnie Nietes landed 18 out of 79. And Juan Carlos Reveco of Argentina landed 7 out of 53. We're at the Forum in Los Angeles, looking at a couple of 112-pound fighters. The guy in the purple trunks, Donnie Nietes, is a champion in the division. Hard left hook by Nietes. Follows it up with a 2-punch combination.
One of the subtle differences you can see in these two fighters, the master versus the expert, you know, Nietes as the master, there's less wasted movement. Reveco, you can see, in order to establish his rhythm, is making bigger motions. And oftentimes for no direct apparent reason, Andre. Whereas Nietes' movement, every move seems to be for a purpose.
Yeah, that's Reveco's, that's his rhythm. That's how he gets himself going. It's almost like a telegraph where he's letting you know that the attack is coming, and Nietes, being the fighter that he is, he can see that. And he'll stick a jab out, slow down. he'll put a hook to the face or a jab to the stomach just to let Reveco know, I see what you're doing, and I'm not going to let you get revved up and get started. And he's been doing that all night. But Reveco's doing the right thing right now. He's going to have to sell out a little bit, be willing to get hit to get his, because if he stays back and allows Nietes to snake charm him, he's going to be on the end of Nietes' punches all night long.
Right, and that's where, early on, I think it's you can't say it's unfair for the crowd to boo, because the crowd feels how they feel. They paid their money. They're entitled to express themselves. But eventually in this fight, if it continues this way, you're right. Reveco, what he's doing, it's not working. It will be time to go to plan B.
Which he's been doing this round. He's had some more success.
That Reveco left hook was one of the best punches he's landed in the fight, but he had to eat 5 or 6 good punches just to get in position to throw.
Well, the difficulty with plan B oftentimes is it involves some selling out, and it can hasten the fighter's demise. In order to give themselves a chance to actually win, they have to increase the odds that they get stopped or get beaten badly.
Well, this is actually Reveco's plan B. This is who he is. He's a two-fisted fighter, and he's aggressive, and he likes to throw a lot of punches. He went against his own nature, which was to lay back and try to think with a master thinker, and that's where he went wrong. This round, this is who Juan Carlos Reveco really is.
As one of the greatest of all boxing publicists, Mike Tyson said, in boxing, you got to bring it to get it. That isn't exactly what he said, but that's the point.
One of James Toney's favorite expressions, too. Reveco got hurt with something at the end of that round.
Something short. Short right hand, and I believe it was a left hook that followed.
He looked out on his feet, Andre.
He was out on his feet. And Nietes knows it.
Rudy Hernandez, Gutman, now looking in at Reveco, trying to figure out exactly what the situation is.
I'll tell you, the situation to me looks, Jim, like maybe he should not come out for this next round.
Ref, he hit him after the bell. After the bell, ref. He said it was before. No. It was after.
Here's a replay.
Here we see Nietes squat down. He's looking. Short right hand. Missed the left hook, but that right hand had Reveco out on his feet. He's out right now. And Nietes knows it, and he's coming back after this round to try to finish the show.
And now the between rounds clock has stopped.
Short right hand from Nietes right on the button.
Now the between rounds clock is going to roll again, as the referee momentarily stopped it and now lets it roll.
So, guys, if this was the NFL, he's going into concussion protocol after 100%. That shot.
Exactly right.
Let's see if Nietes opens up and tries to finish the show.
Well, I think it's fascinating. He's going to be allowed to come back out and fight, and he got extra time between rounds to recover.
He's still out on his feet, even with the extra time that he was given. He's still out.
His legs don't know where the canvas is. See, his balance is shot. His legs are gone.
That's why he's running like that, to try to get his leg. But watch the veteran. He's going to start to pick it up, and you'll see him as aggressive as he's been all night.
And he landed a lead right hand flush. As he now looks for the next opportunity.
Reveco just has huge heart. But now Nietes has a sitting duck in front of him.
Yeah, and I think this is highly questionable for the California Commission, as Reveco has been allowed to come back in and fight at a moment when he was obviously compromised.
7. Hey, come to me. Come to me. Come to me.
His corners allowing him to continue. His legs are not obeying his brain.
Questionable for everybody, and now somebody in the corner is waving a white flag, and intelligently so. What's the point?
That would have ended ugly if they let that continue.
Guys, he didn't even need that final knockdown. When you saw him come out to begin the round, his legs were unsteady. When he placed them on the canvas, you could see he didn't know where the floor was.
If you have to stop the between rounds clock to determine whether the fighter is capable of continuing in the fight, doesn't that make the point in and of itself?
Meantime, a sensational win for Nietes. He won every round. He displayed absolute boxing mastery, and he essentially ended the fight with one right hand.
Absolutely.
Spectacular. He set that right hand up with a series of left hooks that were so skillful, so perfectly delivered, so well timed. It was like a clinic on offensive boxing.
And defensive boxing.
Both, exactly right. And here's another look at the end.
So Nietes knows that Reveco's hurt, so now you start to see him put some power behind those punches. He commits more knowing that Reveco's hurt. He closes the distance, he goes to the body with both hands and tries to finish up top. And Reveco's done. He's finished.
You know, Andre, we saw a good young fighter a couple months ago, Tevin Farmer, get robbed on our air. And fighters like Tevin Farmer should watch Nietes because he is the culmination of experience on top of the kind of talent and skill Farmer has. He is the end game.
Let's go to Michael Buffer for the final details on all of this. Whoops.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 53 seconds into round number 7. The winner by knockout victory and still WBO flyweight champion of the world, Donnie Nietes.
Final CompuBox numbers, and these numbers are a wipeout. As you can see that Nietes more than doubled Reveco in landed punches.